we do have some good news, all right, for our friends listening on the game in Wisconsin, all right? They are our friends, and we appreciate their friendship. We have some good news. According to Aaron Rodgers, he was asked about whether or not he believes the Green Bay Packers, following a bad loss to LeVar Arrington's Washington Commandos and Taylor Heineke, who tried to give the game away early.
How about it?
According to Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers still in contention for making a playoff run. This was Rodgers yesterday.
Righting the ship and getting the playoffs, does that feel plausible right now?
Goddamn right it does. I'm not worried about this squad. In fact, this might be the best thing for us this week. You know, nobody's going to give us a chance. Go on to Buffalo and Sunday Night Football. The chance to get exposed. Shoot. Might be the best thing for us.
All right, so
It's not.
it's saying
I'm going to just go ahead and check off the box. It's not.
no.
That's a no from me.
Yeah, that's a no.
So
You won't be going to Hollywood.
I mean, but what do you mean? He dropped a GD on us. He dropped a GD at Aaron Rodgers. So I
that's
mean,
why we had to dump it?
Well, yeah, you know.
That wasn't me, was it?
No.
All right.
You know, we gotta
Wait,
be,
we dumped the
what
sound?
did I do?
yeah, you know, you got to be careful.
Some people in the Bible Belt.
Yeah, you got to be careful with the GDs, depending on who's out there.
You got to say cot.
I'm Catholic, but I'm not a fan.
Yeah,
You got to say cot. C-A-U-T or C-O-T, cot.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you that are wondering, why is Rodgers so confident? Well, it's because they're only 10.5-point underdogs for next Sunday night's game at Buffalo, which, by the way, the first time in Aaron Rodgers' career he's ever been a double-digit underdog. But based on what we saw yesterday, is there reason to believe that the Green Bay Packers are going to bounce back and rid themselves of another poor performance on the road? Who's confident?
I'm not. I mean, I think you look at the way they've played so far this year. There's no rhythm, no flow in offense. They don't run the football consistently. The passing game is just – I mean, they're searching. I mean, honestly, I feel like, it's around Halloween, right?
Yeah.
You guys ever done bobbing for apples?
Yes.
Yeah, remember that as a kid?
You know how disgusting that is now that I look back on it?
Really disgusting.
Yeah.
More about the bathtub, right?
Yeah, it's like you're putting your face in after somebody else. Then they might have put their mouth on the apple that you ended up bobbing and getting. Like, it's like I was watching that on TV the other day. I was telling my kids I did that. They were like, Dad. I was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. In the COVID,
disgusting.
In the COVID era, probably
I was thinking more just about the fact that, like, you don't even know if that bathtub was, like, washed before they filled it up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Ew. So you might have been getting like booty apples.
Booty apples.
other places apples.
Could have got some apples with some little cream.
Oh, no.
What?
Eh.
Oh!
Anyway,
My childhood is ruined.
Yeah.
The whole point of it is you've got when you're down there bobbing for you're just praying for something. You know, you're hoping to get something out of it.
Oh my God.
I feel like that's every offensive series for the Packers. They're bobbing for apples, man.
Oh, man.
It's like, can we just get someone to be consistent, to be able to make a play so that we can get some points, come away with something? It really does feel like that. It's painful to watch, man.
I used to be under the water. I'd be like, I'm bobbling for apples.
You and Aaron Rodgers, brother.
You're so happy now.
Relax.
Well, I mean, at least at the end, I got what I wanted. I don't know that Aaron Rodgers is going to get what he wants out of his darn. You're right, we are. Like, I don't think they got people in the perfect place that he thinks people are in.
By the way,
ain't buying that one.
We've talked about this before. The David Bakhtiari situation is odd. We're coming up on 2 years since he tore his knee up right after he signed that contract extension, and it's still an issue. He was scratched late on Saturday night, and then Zach Tom, who's his backup, had a quote that basically said, just looking at the way he looks in practice sometimes, you just got to be ready. And to me, that's pretty damning. And we've said it before. When he tried to come back for the playoff game or for the late game last year, Week 17, he played a handful of snaps and then wasn't available for the playoff game and then missed more time at the start of this year. it just feels like they're a mess. And there's similar comps to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay feels the same, but I look at Tampa Bay and I go, they've got pieces. They've got weapons.
It's not the same.
I'm more confident in Tampa Bay than I am Green Bay turning this around. Although the NFC is wide open, the Packers feel problematic.
Well, that's because the NFC South division is awful.
Yeah.
So that's why you feel that way.
Yeah.
It's not
the Vikings
great.
are good.
It's not great in Green Bay's, but you got Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota's 2 games ahead.
Yeah. I mean, you got to go for a wild card. I don't think they're going to catch Minnesota. But I don't know that I don't know that they're going to be in the number 2 spot. I mean, Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit is they will be in the number 2 spot.
You got the Bears and the Lions in the division.
Yeah. But it still isn't the same as Tampa Bay. But Tampa Bay, like that's a disturbing situation, man. Like, because it's turning into what you would have thought it could have turned into when Tom Brady went there, and then he brings in all these guys like, I'm going to bring in Gronk. That turns up the dial on made for television. Then you bring in AB, and you're bringing in all these guys. You'd have thought, man, there is a soap opera brewing in Tampa Bay. But you know what? Give credit where credit is due. Bruce kept that thing together. The question is going to be for me, which is a great segue for my point, what is LaFleur like? We're having this conversation, and it's all based upon what Aaron Rodgers is saying. But really what's going to have to happen is that these coaches, I don't know, was it UQ or somebody said it? I don't know who said it, but they're like, they're going to have to coach. You got to coach in Green Bay this year. You got to get some stuff done as a coaching staff if this team is to win, because you don't have some of the luxuries that you've had in years past, mainly a number 1 receiver. And that's what, everybody was banking on the fact that you get a young guy in the draft, you got some wily veterans, if they can stay healthy, and if the young guy can kind of progress quickly enough, that Aaron Rodgers is the guy that can do it, and they can get over that hump and do what they need to do. Heck, I had them in the Super Bowl. I had them as my pick. Now, look at my 2 picks.
Yeah.
I did too.
The Green Bay Packers and the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens is like scraping and scrounging to get victories, and Green Bay can't even win. I mean, I don't know, man. It's going to come down to me. It's going to come down to LaFleur. Like, if I was LaFleur, I would kind of sack up and honestly be like, listen, hey, look, A-Rod, we're going to limit your media availability right now and focus in on getting ourselves on the right track.
Right.
That would be me. Less would be more.
I think there's 2 things at play, though, because there's a common denominator between the Bucs and the Packers, and that's neither Rodgers and Brady are really a part of the offseason. And I know people, what does that matter? They've done it in the past and all that. Well, Rodgers didn't walk into the season with Devontae Adams, who he could at least rely on anytime he wanted to. I mean, that's a big difference. And for Tom Brady, there's obviously been a lot of stuff going on in the offseasons. He's maybe done it to a degree in the past. But now you've got a season 2 where that head coach is in there, Bruce Arians. And I don't know if he's a part of game planning, if he's not. Obviously he's not on the sidelines talking with Byron Leftwich on the headset, talking about different play calling. But I mean, it seems like there's a drastic disconnect with all the quarterbacks and the rest of their team, and it's not always everyone else. Like, everyone wants to talk about, like, who do the Bucs and Packers need to do to come in? Well, the quarterbacks just need to play better. Like, that's a portion of it too. But I also feel like if you look at the Packers season so far, right? I mean, outside of this most recent loss, like outside of looking at you losing to the Washington Commandos, they've lost to all teams that have good records at this point. The 5-2 Jets, the 6-1 Giants, the 5-1 Vikings, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're just looking at records, I think you look at it and you go, well, look, they're just a game under 500, and with the exception of this most recent loss on the road, which is the first of a 3-game stretch on the road, they've really lost to teams that are maybe good football teams. But maybe that's part of it. Do you really feel like the Jets are a good football team? Do you really feel like the Giants, and this is going to be sustainable to keep them 6-1? Like the Vikings, I think a divisional game to open this season, you're kind of not sure what to think. Now looking back on it, you're going, all right, the Vikings look for real. But I think that plays a little bit into probably the perception of this Packers team is not only like what they're, how they look on the field, but like who they've won and lost to and what our perception is of those teams as well.
Yeah, because the Carolina Panthers ain't been winning at all.
Yeah.
No. And that team is just bad. So that makes you look at them and go, all right, like where are the Bucs right now? Is that just like a jump because they got maybe a couple bad eggs out of there? I mean, was Christian McCaffrey holding this team back? I don't think anyone's actually serious when they say that or ask that.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought you were going to keep going with a different point there, but
Yeah.
I think I think we all start thinking about the same exact thing at the moment in time that you sit in.
Well, let me see what's going
good.
on with McCaffrey.
It was good. It was good to take
a
a good healthy pause to kind of reminisce about.
Maybe there's like something in his personal life.
If you don't think there's a
post-game
Carolina
day.
fan base that's more upset about losing Olivia Culpo than Christian McCaffrey, you are dead wrong.